welcome to Club Awesome. We provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. That is the official Toastmasters Club mission, and it's something that I found to be true here at Club Awesome. I joined in 2010. The writer, I was an editor. I was theoretically a professional communicator. But when I got called to be up on stage, I tell people that I wasn't afraid of public speaking. I probably should have been if I knew how I was coming across. But I knew that I could be better. And so I think I went to one club. I found it kind of stuffy and weird. And maybe I was just trying to get acclimated to the Toastmasters experience. People counting your ums and ahs, which I still struggle with. But this is a great club. It has actually been around for 51 years. We are working on rebuilding it to its pre-COVID membership strength. And having all of you in the room and all of you joining online is a help to that. I'm actually going to the Toastmasters World Convention in a few months to talk about club growth. And you can really help me out by having a success story to tell. Those of you who might be interested in joining or rejoining, this would be a great time to do it for my own selfish purposes. And so I'm glad that you're all here. We are here today with a former member. Now, I think it's part of the natural ebb and flow of a Toastmasters club is that people join the club, they're active for a few years, and sometimes they move on. And they don't necessarily move on because they're dissatisfied with the club or the experience. They move on because all of a sudden they have this early meeting that they have to be to every Friday at work, or they have to drop a kid off at school, or they move. One of the beauties of this hybrid format that we've gone to is that people move away. We can say, hey, you can still be a member, still come to those meetings online. And so that's a good thing. Now, Madalina and I were both part of the leadership team that had to navigate through COVID. All of a sudden, we could only meet online. And a fortunate thing was a couple of years before, in 2017, I had started the Online Presenters Toastmasters Club because I was interested in the online speaking format, wanted to learn to do webinars, online presentations, tech demos that I might be giving over Zoom or WebEx or whatever. And so I wanted to learn those skills. And so I had some of those skills to help the club navigate through that. Madalina was also part of that in terms of, she was our VP of PR at the time. So she was reaching out and letting people know that we're still meeting, we're just still meeting differently. And when we came back from the pandemic, then it was a decision that, you know what, we're going to keep this online element, but we want people here to be here in the room as well. Because as much as I was an enthusiast for the online meeting format, I really missed this. I really missed being in person. I always say that the reason that I'm in Toastmasters is that it allows me to start my day with laughter and applause on a Friday. It's a jolt of energy. It's getting together with a bunch of people who are all here to help each other be better. So it's a self-improvement organization. My friend Bruce Pokey, in mentoring the club, says it's a selfish organization. We all come for our own reasons to get what we want out of it. But some of us, and I'm one of them, stick around over the long term because we continue to get value out of it. With that, there is only one item on the agenda today. The agenda is handed over to Madalina R-A
Okay.
Have her run the entire meeting.
All right.
I do like that. We're gonna get that to that in just a moment. And she did provide me with a helpful pronunciation tips for Iredeshe. Am I doing it okay? Pretty much. All right. In the ballpark. She's the founder and CEO of Bright Pink Agency, an award-winning marketing agency specializing in designing and building enterprise-level websites for national and international franchise brands. With over a decade of experience in the franchise marketing, she's a certified franchise executive, an engaged member of the International Franchise Association, an active force in the franchise community, serving on multiple boards, speaking at conferences, and mentoring future franchise leaders at the Titus Center for Franchising at Palm Beach Atlantic University. Madalina got her start in public speaking right here at Club Awesome, where she once served as VP of PR and learned to trade stage fright for stage presence. Today, she speaks confidently in front of audiences, ranging from C-suites to conference halls, always with a bit of wit, a splash of pink. Actually, I think she's going to burn my eyes out with that pink suit she's wearing. You're going to see that in just a moment if you haven't yet. And a clear message. Please welcome Madalina.
Buses, right? Good morning, everyone. Well, David could have actually given this workshop himself because we actually have a lot in common, you and I, right? We both have a background in journalism, we're techies and fans of WordPress, but I have a better accent. I go to a lot of conferences and I'm on LinkedIn a lot. You're going to hear a lot about this today. And it's no surprise that we live in an age where AI has become the primary topic everywhere. Literally cannot escape it anywhere I go. But while AI is such a helpful tool, it also became the great equalizer in the best and the worst possible way. Because if you've ever been on LinkedIn lately, you'll see how everything has started to sound the same. After every event, just return from conference name in city. It's a great opportunity to network and learn from others in the industry. Grateful to be part of a team that values growth and continuous learning. Looking forward to applying what I've learned. Hashtag networking, hashtag growth, hashtag conference, hashtag professional development. Sounds familiar? Yeah. AI has made us all sound the same. It's made us all photogenic and fluent in 17 languages. And no one knows what's real anymore. Though we can probably guess if something looks a little too perfect, it's probably fake. But guess what? You can't ChatGPT your stage presence. Your charisma. You can fake a resume. You can automate your LinkedIn posts. But you can't outsource your presence. Eye contact, confidence, storytelling, that is all you. So, here we are. It's 7 a.m. You could be home sleeping or scrolling on TikTok or enjoying the traffic on I-95 if you drive to work. But instead, you showed up. And that tells me something important. That you're the kind of person who invests in yourself. And that's rare. That's powerful. Or your name is Alex and your wife told you to show up so you can give her feedback later. So give yourselves a pat on the back because you're already ahead of many. Go on, pat on the back. Also, quick note, you're gonna want to take notes There'll be an exercise later. So whether you use your phone's notes app or the good old pen and paper, please go ahead and take notes. Thank you later. All right. David told you who I am earlier. I'm going to tell you who I am not. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a personal branding guru. And I have not sold my startup to private equity for $1 billion and made the Forbes list. Okay, at least. I'm just someone who came in this country with $200, 2 suitcases, some CDs I haven't listened to since 2008. And by the way, that was 20 years ago. Nobody call ICE. No ICE on ICE, please. I've been a tax-paying citizen since 2011. I had no money, no followers, no friends. Heck, I didn't even have a driver's license. Just some academic skills, a hard-to-place accent, and a desire to make it all work. And that's good news for you all, because if a girl from Romania with no money, no friends, and a bad accent can build a 7-figure company and a reputation in business, then you all can also be successful. You don't need a blue check mark on LinkedIn. You don't need 15,000 followers. And you absolutely do not need to go viral. This is not what personal branding is about. You just need to do a couple of things consistently and with intention. So today we're going to talk a lot about personal branding, and it sounds like a buzzword, but what actually is personal branding? It's what people say about you when you're not in the room, and also what shows up on Google when they search for you. Let's start with a story. When I moved here, I was 24, and the only people I knew were the boyfriend I had chased halfway across the world, the family I was staying with, and my friendly but expensive immigration attorney. I got a job with a small company, 3 employees, and a husband-wife owners duo. And my network was basically non-existent. As an introvert, I thought I was destined to hide behind the screen and an email address, because networking is for extroverts, right? I got my first job and my driver's license on the same day, which should tell you that I was a very unconfident driver. And South Florida is not a place for unconfident drivers, right? I didn't go many places. It took me years to figure out networking. I was a late bloomer even after I had started my business. Lots of trial and error that I hope you all can spare yourselves from. But when I became a mother, I think 14 years ago, I should know because my kid's birthday is in 2 weeks, I joined the Mothers of Multiples Club here in Coral Springs. That was my first stepping out into networking. And it was someone from that group that connected me to a local business networking group. The idea terrified me, but I joined pure out of FOMO. I figured I knew I didn't have what it takes, but I asked myself, what would I regret more? Making a fool of myself or not even trying? And it was again someone that I met through that mom group, a woman named Lisa, who led me to Toastmasters. Maybe you remember Lisa. It led me to this very same Club Awesome. You see, I had to give a presentation to that networking group I had just joined, and I was freaking out about it. So Lisa told me that I should join this club so I could gain some confidence and some skills, because that's what had happened to her. Toastmasters gave me the confidence to say yes to opportunities, to speak on stages, to present to clients, and to participate in panels, and sometimes even moderate them. The skills I have gained here are priceless. But here's what I'd like you to take away from this. Seek opportunities to network. networking is not just for extroverts, it's for everyone. When a door opens, go through it, except that one. If it opens, just the best things in my career happened through networking. And I bet if you look back at your own career paths, you're going to see the same. It's true for you. I said earlier that networking, that branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. But that implies that at some point, you have to be in the room with other people. This right here is networking. This in this room. But there are many versions of networking. Your company has events, I'm sure, your industry conferences, the webinars, the live LinkedIn events, many educational opportunities, sometimes put together by sponsors in your company. But if you do everything that I teach you today and you don't network, you cannot build a personal brand. So now let's start our first exercise. We're going to have a couple of them throughout the day today, throughout the morning. Let's take 5 minutes and think about what are some networking opportunities you can join in the next 3 months. Maybe some calendar invites you have declined. But I'm sure if you look in your phone, in your calendar, yes, I'm encouraging you all to look at your phones and your calendars right now, typically highly discouraged during any kind of lecture. And think of 3 events you could join in the next 3 months. How's that? Can we try? Come on, it is a workshop. It's not the speech, it's a workshop, right? You need some help. I will help you, but I wanna hear some ideas from the group first or online as well.
Or the Speakers Association.
All right. That's a great one, especially for Toastmasters, for aspiring speakers. You know, the Chamber of Commerce in pretty much any city has a breakfast every month, once a month. And you can be a member of multiple chambers. Hopefully it's not on Friday morning at 7. That would kind of,
I go to one Thursday morning at 7.
okay.
Okay.
And they also have networking referral groups that you can join. So that's another opportunity there. Alicia, Alex, and I are going to a franchise event next week. There's going to be plenty of networking there.
On the list.
And other than that, there's probably quite a few webinars that you could go and sift through and figure out, because yes, you can network online as well. In-person opportunities are going to become more and more important for your personal brand, but online you can still join quite a few.
Well, it kind of depends whether the webinar is set up to allow discussion, because a lot of them are sort of set up with the speaker way up here and everybody else just gets to put questions in the chat, right?
Yeah. I want to say the best ones are when they do breakout sessions, because those are smaller. There's about 5 people and with the moderator, and they get to talk. And I've done quite a bit of interesting networking in those settings.
Even on the ones that are mostly speakers speaking and you have the ability to ask questions, I have found that you can meet other people on the side because of it.
Yeah,
If you have 2 people asking the same question, or you might have an answer.
right.
You know, I in the past have written, hey, I've done that, this is how I'm doing it, reach out to me.
Drop your LinkedIn in there
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And be the first one, you'll see. Be the first one who puts their LinkedIn in the chat, because others will follow and go ahead and connect with each other. You just don't know what could come out of that. And it's such a simple thing to do. And then if they do the discussion groups separately, the breakout rooms, be the volunteer who says, I'll share the number 1 takeaway from our roundtable discussion when they call for that. I know it's hard, but you can do it. You can do hard things. Who wants to share some networking opportunities that are gonna join in the next 3 months? Yes, Trisha.
I have a little shift in my job, and outside of being a product manager, I also have to keep up with regulatory changes in that field. And that means at the federal level and at the state level. And so getting to network between other people who are consuming our product or a product like ours in different states and understanding their point of view, being able to speak to those customers in those meetings. Because sometimes it's about explaining those regulatory changes to a wider audience, and then you get to see the kind of questions that are coming up from the customers using your product. And then maybe even be able to have a contact in each of those states. Like, that's actually very difficult to do, to have a good contact for every state for your service.
So there's an event coming up for this, or?
I'm sure there is. I just don't have a lot of knowledge in that space yet, because I'm kind of new. So just being able to speak with my manager and get more opportunities to start going to more regular meetings at the federal and state level.
You go.
But there's also, I've taken a bunch of courses lately on speaking and coaching and so on, because I'm in a new career path.
Maybe we should actually invite people to come up to the front of the room so that those who are online can actually see and hear a little bit better.
Okay.
And besides, it's practice.
That's right.
It's all practice.
We always shake hands in Toastmasters, but yes, and my name's Gail, and I've been talking a lot today, but in taking a lot of courses, coaching, speaking courses and so on for my new business that I'm developing, they have, they teach you how to go search on Google for associations or for other like-minded groups that you would want to approach to offer your services. And there are so many local, regional, national groups that you can contact, and they're always looking for members. So just like we're looking for members. We would love you to join us in person like you are today. Please come back. And we have treats for you, and we'll do it again if you come back again. So anyway, I think that there's just a wealth, and of course you can ask Chat GPT. I was doing some research last evening, asking it questions, and just like you, it's like, oh my gosh, it just like that. It comes back with great detail. So whatever you want to know, whatever group you want to belong to, it's there. Just reach out, and they'll be thrilled to have you.
Thank you. All right, so there's no shortage of networking opportunities out there. But before we head into this new networking lifestyle of ours that we're setting up for, we're going to talk about how to pick a lane and how to define your expertise and your niche. So we started with networking because none of the other advice matters if you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone and in front of people. But now let's get intentional about how you want to show up, whether it's in person or online. And this is going to span across all the areas where you have a professional presence. So think for a minute. What do you want to be known for? Get specific. Get really specific. For instance, financial advisor. You're not just a financial advisor. You're a financial advisor for divorced women. You're a realtor, not a realtor. You're a luxury condo specialist in Fort Lauderdale. Better yet, on Fort Lauderdale Beach. You're an ENT doctor. You're a left ear doctor. That's it. Narrow it down. Nobody's laughing? Oh. All right. Me, I'm not a marketer. I'm a franchise website therapist. I've also been called the franchise website queen. Nobody gave me a crown, but two different people told me that. So if they ever come back with the crown to me, I might just accept it. Do you know how saturated the world of digital marketing is? Extremely. So we chose a lane, franchise marketing, and then narrowed it down even further. Just franchise websites. We did this deliberately. This is all we talk about. Even though, in fact, the same skills required to build a franchise website, we can apply to building any kind of website. I was talking to Gail earlier, if we built websites for startups, like we could, but we don't because it's not our audience. So I know what you're thinking, Madalina, I'm not a business owner. My job does not allow me to pick and choose my lane. Imagine being a dog trainer and saying, I only train three-legged English Springer Spaniels. That's it. Because some lady in a pink suit told me on a Friday morning. Look, your personal brand is not your job description. Okay? Just like LinkedIn is not your resume. You are the CEO of your own life and of your career too. So, what are your strongest skills? What problems do you solve? What are you passionate about? And what do you want to be known for? But ma'am, I'm just getting started. I'm not an expert in anything. I know there are some who think that. Even if you're not an expert, pick a lane and build your expertise in public. So that you're determined to learn everything about your chosen career path as much as possible. And you're going to find your people. You're going to find people that support you, that cheer you on. You might even find a mentor. So have that courage to narrow it down instead of going broad. Narrow down to a single lane. And you know, we're going to have an exercise about this because it's a workshop. So let's reflect on this. I want you to write down to get some clarity on what that lane looks like for you. Make it narrow. And when you think it's narrow, make it even narrower. And to help you with this, I have a little template. Because once you know what your lane, you can fill in the blanks on this template and create a LinkedIn tagline for you. So I'm gonna, best place to show this right here.
I guess, yeah.
I help blank who with blank what so they can achieve a result, so they can blank. This can guide you towards that lane that we've been talking about. I help who with what so they can result. I was gonna build slides, I swear, but I don't do this. I don't do this speech. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm not a professional trainer, I should say. When I speak about franchise websites and other things from my industry. So I was up till 1 a.m. last night building my presentation, and the slides kind of fell through because there were only a bunch of things I wanted to share on the slideshow anyway. So I defaulted to the good old printer. Thankfully, I was not running out of ink. So I'm gonna ask for some volunteers to share what they have come up with. And by volunteers, I mean you'd be voluntold.
Let's make sure we pick on some people online too.
Yes. Great idea, David.
Oh, it's so quiet in here.
Everybody's thinking, the gears are spinning. I like to see people writing or typing.
Marianne is raising her hand.
Marianne Grady, top left.
Miriam's ready.
One of the things I wrote on my LinkedIn profile was I can help you get the job of your dreams. And at that time when I wrote that, I was doing mostly interview coaching. I'm getting ready to make a little bit of a switch to a speech coach. And so what I did was I signed up to be a TEDx speech coach. And so I'm in the application process, but I do believe I will get that. And then at that time, I'll change it to, I haven't fine tuned it, but it's something similar, but with regard to, coaching your speech.
That is a great example of going narrow because speech coach is broad, but TEDx speech coach, that is very specific. And I bet there's an audience out there who is interested in exactly that. So thank you for sharing that, Marianne. Is anyone else ready to share? I see people are still writing here, so I don't want to interrupt their train of thought. Anyone online wants to share another example about how they went narrow on what they're passionate about,
Right.
specialized in? David?
I help technology organizations tell stories so that their value becomes clearer and dramatically clear.
Okay, thank you. Yes, because technology organizations are notorious about speaking in plain terms and everyone understands what they're talking about, right?
Too much silence.
Yes, I can do it. I can. You're the only one. Thank you for the invitation. So I help boomers and Gen X to improve their strength and resiliency mentally and physically so that they can live a long and healthy life into their 90s and hundreds and beyond if they wish.
Wow. It's a great topic. Trisha.
Very much. Take a picture of my screen so I remembered exactly what I wrote, but I am a product manager for a software company, but I am not just a product manager for a software company. I'm a product manager with an LPN background, and I help nurses and clinical staff with their resident care so that they have the best outcome for their residents in a skilled nursing environment.
Allison is also raising her hand.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Asil. Thank you for having me today. I'm an account manager for a software company, and through Toastmasters, I determined my niche, and what I'm known for is time management and email digital management. Help people to maximize their time, because the greatest excuse people have is, I don't have time for that. or I can never find the time. So going through the pathways of Toastmasters, it has drilled me down from a wide range of motivational speaking to determine to be known for and help people manage time. Thank you.
And that struck a chord right there with the time. It is the greatest excuse of our times.
Actually had to write down what I do on a daily basis, so I can remember to articulate that. I help portfolio managers by leading their implementation projects so that they benefit from the solution offerings of the fintech firm that I work for as a lead project manager.
Love that she used very specific terms like fintech, right? So someone in that field is gonna know this is the person who can help me. All right, shall we do one more? I like there's some hesitant hands. Who wants to go? Come on, Alex.
Why does everybody pick on her?
You're the only other guy in the room.
It's not an excuse.
Steven's here.
Thank you, Madalina, for picking on me again.
Of course.
So I am a creative problem solver who specializes in finding visible solutions to increase company growth.
All right.
Guys. My husband.
Yeah.
All right, so. If you haven't shared it, just know you're gonna be called for the next challenge and you don't know what that next challenge is, so pick your battles. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's make it more fun. Do you have a favorite superhero? Just shout it out. Superhero fans.
Wonder Woman.
Spider-Man.
Hey, online, anyone? Superheroes.
Online.
Anyone?
Online.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, all right. So, you know how superheroes have, well, there's a person behind the costume, right? So, Superman, superhero, alter ego of Clark Kent, Spider-Man, professional alter ego of Peter Parker. So, I don't want to recommend that you adopt the stage name here. That's not gonna fly on LinkedIn. But I want you to think as of yourself as the professional superhero version of regular you. Does that make sense? Like adopt superhero personality. You don't want to be bland because bland gets ignored. All right, I'm gonna use myself as an example here. I adopted the color bright pink, if it wasn't obvious enough. David's eyes are still bleeding from this morning when I walked in. And trust me, that was not something I have done from the beginning, believe it or not. My company's name is Bright Pink Agency. I probably should have opened with that. And I did not adopt that from the beginning. Why? Because remember, I was not networking. I wasn't going anywhere. Now, my pink suit collection is legendary. Okay, I only have 3 ranked from darkest to brightest. This one's the brightest. And it's because I wanted to make sure everyone's awake. And thanks to the movie Barbie, pink suits are not as hard to find as a pink elephant anymore. But people know me by my pink suit. Whenever we go to events, the whole team wears pink. Alicia here shows up in pink today. And we did this so well that earlier this year in February at the International Franchise Association convention in Vegas, about 4,000 people were there. I was there with my team. We were all rocking our pink outfits. Not everyone goes quite as full on pink as me, but presentation was there. People thought that everyone else who was wearing pink was part of Bright Pink Agency. I'll take that. We're a small company, but I'll take that. It's become a bit of a challenge though, because last year I was at a client's conference and I decided to wear something neutral, some linens. It's summer, change it up a little bit. And I can't tell you how many people got confused, like, who even are you anymore? They even asked me, actually after the 4th or 5th person, I had to go upstairs and change because it just wasn't gonna fly like that anymore. And then everyone recognized me after that. So I kind of pigeonholed myself into this. I wanted to show you all a picture of my pink collection in my closet, but like I said, the slideshow didn't work out. So if you want to pick a color and rep it hard like I do, it will stick. But it doesn't have to be a color. There are countless examples out there where you can adopt the personality based on something you wear or something, a little touch of something that makes you different. I brought some examples. So for instance, if you're all familiar with the podcast Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, He mostly only wears a black t-shirt. That's him. Sometimes you'll see him in white, but there's no color involved there. Mel Robbins, I'm a big fan. She's a speaker, author, podcaster, is known for her black, thick framed eyeglasses, much like mine. Not that I copied Mel or anything. Steve Jobs was known for his turtleneck, right? I have some examples from my own industry. So someone I admire a lot, Mary Kennedy Thompson, she's the CEO of BNI and a former CEO of Neighborly, one of the largest home services organizations in the world, is known for her long gray curly hair, and she always wears a power suit in a plain color, different colors, but she's a fan of bringing on color on stage. And then another example, if you look her up, Toni Harris Taylor, she's known as the networking queen in franchising. She's always in this colorful outfits with big, bold jewelry and funky shaped glasses. And it's never the same color, but she always really shows up when she goes to an event, and that really suits her. So she doesn't have to just stick with one color. That's her personality. You cannot ignore her when she enters a room. So here comes the exercise. Describe your professional persona like a character. Who are you? Bold, strategic, quirky? Take a minute to jot it down. And then I'm gonna need a brave volunteer to paint a picture for all of us. Line, in the room. I see some skeptical looks, no?
Oh, so sorry.
All right.
I'll do it again.
Absolutely. Come on, Gail. Thank you.
All right. Once again, well, I must say, I like to wear boots. I don't know if you can see that online. I have quite a collection of boots, and I just worn them since I was a little kid because I love boots. I have all kinds for different occasions. The odd time when I go to an event and I don't have my boots on, people come up to me and say, "Where's your boots?" So even when I go to church, I have boots on. And I also, and I mean, I have to tell you, I'm 77 years old, and I suppose you're supposed to look your age, but I feel like I'm 17 or 27. And in my age, we wore go-go boots at that time. And I'm still feeling it. And I expect to feel it until I'm in my hundreds, because my family lives into their hundreds. So I want to be marching. What is that song? My boots are made for walking. And that's the way I am. So, and I have a feeling of, I am Wonder Woman. I have a picture of me as a little kid in my new gold bathing suit that my aunt gave me with a little ruffle on the back. And that's how I feel. So maybe that's cocky or quirky or irritating. I don't know, but that's me. Thank you.
Big clap for Gail, because how it aligned this description with what she told us earlier, that she wants to coach people to live a healthier life, 200 and beyond, right? She's living that. Age is just a number. So wear what makes you feel confident and powerful and youthful. Who else wants to follow Gail?
But Constance, you're not shy. Come on.
Good morning. Yes. Well, this is very interesting. She's mentioned the color black, and I like the color black, and I wear it a lot, believe it or not. And as a teacher and as a dance educator, it's very comfortable for me, and it's very liberating because if I have to go on the floor with the kids or I have to move, it makes it easier. And I also like to wear hats, believe it or not, caps that match with it. So I'm able to move freely, and as much as possible. And also too, it helps you look a little thinner.
Thank you for sharing that. Who else would like? And one more.
Maybe I'll try.
Ah,
I just got like a short idea of how to say it from Gail. Just like I said, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero earlier, but I guess mild-mannered Clark Kent is a bit more of a comparison. Like I do what's asked of me, but I also position myself that I'm the first to see when a lot of problems occur. I'm very like I'm very data oriented. It's very easy for me to automate myself, and I just try to do what's asked of me.
thank you for sharing with us. All right, we have quite a bit of, I want to be mindful of time here, and there will be more exercises. So if you have not contributed yet, remember, you're gonna be eventually called out. Let's talk about your online presence. I'm sure you expected this would be on the agenda, but I want us to learn how to do LinkedIn with intention. Look, I'm not gonna pretend to give advice that's gonna apply to TikTok or Instagram. I'm not an expert in those platforms. And if you are, good for you. Please come back and teach us the next workshop. I will be there taking notes. LinkedIn is not something you use just when you're looking to freshen up your resume and change jobs. It's your network online. And the most important thing when it comes to LinkedIn is consistency. If you can't commit to invest at least 1 hour a week, it won't work. Don't bother. I'm serious. I don't want to discourage you, but it takes 1 hour a week, and don't tell me you don't have 1 hour a week. Look at your app statistics and how long videos on TikTok. But you, my friends, woke up at 6 a.m. to be here for a personal branding workshop at 7 on a Friday morning. So you're ready to make a change and commit to it, right? You just want to take the guesswork out. Except for Alex, we've already established that. So here's my playbook. Number 1, connect with everyone you meet in real life on LinkedIn. Expand your network from real life online. Because some of the people that you meet in real life, you're only going to see them a couple times a year. Right here, you'll see each other every morning. But if you go to these events that you jotted down during the first exercise, you're not going to see those people all the time. Some of these conferences happen once a year. So if you don't connect, they will forget you exist. Doesn't matter if you show up in your brightest pink suit, they will move on. So here's the easiest way to connect with other people. So this is going to be a really short exercise. Pull up LinkedIn on your phone. I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks. I'm going to go up to your search bar on LinkedIn. You're going to tap inside that search bar. And when you tap inside the search bar, there is a little square that shows up on the right side. Do you see that? Look like a little QR code. Tap that. Best kept secret.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Huh? That is your code. You can instantly give it to someone to scan. Go ahead and do it. Like find a neighbor. Oh, sorry, online folks. You guys can find a neighbor to do that. But find a neighbor and then scan each other's codes and see how easy it is to connect with each other this way. There's no more like I spell my name. I am the queen of having to spell my last name many times and people still get it wrong. So I can't rely on that one.
Yep.
You're talking
Okay. Marianne has something to add at some point.
Go ahead.
LinkedIn.
When people are connecting with their neighbors here.
You have your phone?
My phone's busy being the webcam
So how do you
for the
take
room.
it?
So yeah.
Take a, like you take a picture.
So I've got this. So you
So all I do is just go to my camera.
you go to your
No,
camera.
no, you're gonna share it with me, right? So leave it.
There's a scan button, yeah, there too.
This camera, so we can see it. Yeah. Okay. So we can, click on the anything. And now, I have the information. And I hit connect. Now, let's do it together. So to go to your camera. And then you're gonna see something.
Look like that, in case you have.
Okay, there we go.
Alex.
Yeah,
And you're.
and then the scan tab is for you to scan someone else's code.
Let me buy my picture.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations, you've just expanded your network.
That's worth coming today, just that alone.
The job here is done.
Okay.
All right, no, not so fast because it is not enough to connect.
Dana, what's the difference between follow and connecting on LinkedIn?
So when you connect with someone, that connection request has to be accepted. Okay, and then you can direct message each other and you see each other's posts. When you follow someone, it's more of a unilateral relationship. So the
More passive.
yeah. Sees what the other person posts. And that happens a lot. You want to follow people that you're interested in, that post content from your field of expertise or interest. You want to follow them. They may not connect with you because they don't know you. You should connect with people that you know, and you should follow influencers or celebrities that you're interested in what they post. So it's not enough, of course, to just connect. That's just the first step. You have to post. And the goal is to post 3 times a week. Yes. Start with once. Start there. Start with once. But work your way up to 3 times a week. Connecting and not posting is like showing up to a party and hiding in the bathroom.
I bring a book.
Just don't go, right? Stay home in your PJs, cozy. Look, I know what you're thinking. Posting is hard. Yes, it is. But so is being invisible. Choose your heart. And you can do hard things, like showing up at 7 a.m. at a meeting and learning how to show up for yourself. And guess what? The more you do it, the easier it gets. I'm gonna give you my playbook for how I post, but whatever you do, please don't just ChatGPT generate your content and put it out there the way it comes out. Please don't do that. LinkedIn is already full of fluff and mindless content. Don't want to do that. Use it for polishing your content. Use it for ideas, but don't just type a prompt and post that. That's not going to be enough to achieve your goals. So here's what I do. I have a folder in my notes app. I use my notes app on my iPhone a lot, called writing. Then I have a shortcut on my phone called topic. And every time I tap that shortcut, it creates a new note in my writing folder of my notes app. Now, don't ask me how I created the shortcut. You can Google that, or better yet, ChatGPT it. My 13-year-old did it for me, full disclosure. So if you have a teenager, I'm getting to that age where technology. But I use that a lot because every time I have an idea, I don't let it go to waste. Creativity doesn't happen when you sit down and all of a sudden you have to write your post. That's when you're going to go blank. You want to build an idea bank. And this is the easiest way to do it. You have your phone with you everywhere, right? Probably even in the bathroom, definitely every time you leave the house. So you can use that shortcut to capture your idea as it happens. Or as soon as it's safe, if you're driving, please don't do it while you're driving. That's not smart. Text to talk is my best friend. If you have not uncovered this life hack, it will change your life. If it understands my accent, it will do just fine. Trust me. You can talk into your notes app with that microphone. It will capture, it's gotten so good. It even smooths out the double clutches and takes out the ums and ahs. It's gotten so good. Use it. Let it be your best friend and capture those ideas as they happen. Because again, when you go sit down to write your post, you're gonna have your ideas right there. And that's what makes the best content, is not the ideas ChatGPT generates for you, it's the ones that come into your head. Remember, you're gonna talk from your area of expertise. So you're gonna be thinking about that stuff a lot. The gears are spinning all the time. I don't know about you, but I'm like, mine are never stopping. So my recommendation is to keep this in your notes app because it syncs with your computer, but it's always available. And you don't have to wonder where to get those ideas if it's always in the same place, right? Look, creativity is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the bigger it gets. Something there. So I know you're gonna want some examples. So here's some ideas about what to post about. Your expertise, of course, but don't just post about work. You have to show your human side. This was a hard one for me because I always wanted to be professional and I did not want to talk about other things until I watched the TED Talk from Brené Brown about vulnerability. That really changed my perspective. So if you haven't watched that, it's an old one, really old, 15 years old, maybe more, but it's available for free on YouTube. Go ahead and watch that if you have trouble like me with vulnerability. Write about your interests, your hobbies, your travels, current events, observations that you have on your own work or life or events, and your wins and failures too. Personally, I write about franchise websites and leadership, but I also write random moments that others might relate to. Like how mountain biking is my favorite way to decompress. And that was a post that actually did quite well. Or how I got hard sold on buying a water bottle in an airport, even though I brought my own refillable water bottle. Surprisingly high reach and engagement on that blew my mind. Just picture of a water bottle. Look, the point of posting is not going viral. It's to get your name and thoughts in front of the right people. People who could potentially have a role in your career path or could refer you business. And I brought something to share with you here from one of the people I follow on LinkedIn. If I can find it. All right. So it says here, when I try to go viral, get 1,000 likes, 1 lead, and 0 deals closed. And when I try to help people, what happens? I get 80 likes, 7 leads, and 2 of them close. The point is not to get the most likes. It's just to get your content seen by the right people. The easiest way to get started with posting on LinkedIn, especially if you haven't posted in a while, is to post photos from events. Make that list of events you're gonna go to. Remember how we talked about networking? With networking, the power is in the follow-up and the follow-through. So you wanna turn every networking event into an opportunity to create content for LinkedIn. This is how you expand your reach beyond the event that is finite, right? So take photos with other people who have a wider LinkedIn audience than you. This is a method called marrying up. Yes, you're gonna tag someone who has a bigger following because your post will become visible to their audience. That's what happens. Amplifying your own reach. But make sure you tag them in your post. That's the trick, really. This right here is a networking event. Take photos with each other. Take photos with me. Actually, take photos with David Carr. He has 3 times more followers on LinkedIn than I do. And tag him. Take a screenshot if you're online. And post that on LinkedIn, tagging everyone.
Well, does everybody know how to tag?
No.
When you type your post, you just type in the @ and then someone's name. It's easier if you're connected. It comes up a lot easier. If you follow them the same way, it's easier. And if you're not connected, you're just gonna have to go through all the different names with that are similar.
At some point, I want to work in something, but
It's a good time, or?
if you don't mind. So yes, I have a very important question. Is anybody at this meeting, either in person or online, because you saw something about it on LinkedIn? Because I worked really hard at getting visibility on LinkedIn over this event. And what she's talking about, getting
One head nodding.
who, anybody online?
Okay.
They were panic.
All of one? Okay.
I did, and I liked it, and I actually commented and said, "Hey, Madalina is amazing. This is going to be a great workshop."
But did you go to LinkedIn because you saw in our WhatsApp group that I had something on LinkedIn, or did you actually just come across it on LinkedIn?
I came across it on LinkedIn. I'm on there pretty often, and so I saw it there.
As part of the promotion for this event, Madalina actually had set up years ago a LinkedIn company page for Club Awesome. We hadn't used it very much. So we created an event, a LinkedIn event. And one of the things I did is I had a list of former members of Club Awesome who I hoped were still members of, at least friends of the club, even if they weren't members of the club. And I tagged every single person. I typed in that @ symbol, I typed in their name, and hopefully I get connected with them years ago. Sometimes they were like a second degree connection, and so they didn't come up quite as fast, or a name came up and I wasn't sure, is that really the person? Or am I going to be like randomly tagging some person who's going to wonder, why is this person reaching out to me? And I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk with that, but if the face looks familiar, if it looks like they were local to Coral Springs, I went ahead and tagged them. I said, all these people, please like this event, please share this event, come if you can. And so one of my theories about digital marketing is that sometimes, even if you try something and it doesn't work immediately, the fact that you're out there, that you're creating noise, that, well, not noise, but you're creating energy, you're attracting attention. A lot of times people will wander in a few weeks later and say, I saw something about this club, and then I went to your website, and I worked really hard on the website. And the website is supposed to impress you that, wow, this club has a lot going on. They do special workshops. They just did this special workshop on personal branding, which is going to be up there very soon on the front page as something to entice people that this is the club that they ought to come to. But at any rate, I was hoping for a dozen people to say, yes, I saw it on LinkedIn, and that's why I'm here. But that's
I saw it on LinkedIn, you tagged me.
well, I guess one of my challenges too is I wanted to get seen by people who aren't already in Toastmasters. Because a lot of times when you have somebody who has the title of Vice President of Public Relations of the club, which is me right now, a lot of what they're doing is marketing Toastmasters to other Toastmasters and telling them how wonderful Toastmasters is. And supposedly they already know. And maybe you're going to lure some people in from other clubs who might be potential members, but we really want to get on the radar of people who really have no idea what Toastmasters is and get them in the room, get them interested. And so I hope that even though there aren't a dozen people online who all say they saw it on LinkedIn, that some of those people are going to trickle in the next few weeks. That's my pitch.
He brought up a good point. The lifespan of a post on LinkedIn is much longer than what you may see on Instagram or on other channels. You'll see things from weeks ago too. So don't get discouraged if you don't get immediate traction on your post. It's not going to disappear.
Right, and I just quickly want to say, David, that you might not see the results on LinkedIn, but it obviously worked on Facebook, because I'm here as a result of
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
All right. And you had to drive a ways too, right? You don't live in this area anymore. Wow.
I didn't drive in the morning. Last night.
All right, this deserves another one, another tip from my hat of tricks. This one's probably rooted somewhere in my background in journalism. One of the most successful types of posts that I write is after an event, I post takeaways from the event. Or better yet, takeaways from a single session of that event. I have a story of how one of those takeaway posts turned into a $50,000 deal. Do I have your attention now? Yes. So earlier this year, I attended a conference. Actually, I was speaking on a panel for that conference, but I decided ahead of time that I was going to be very intentional about how I show up to that conference and make the best of it in every possible way. The panel really gave me visibility, but I researched the speakers in advance. I knew who was going to be there. One of the keynote speakers was someone that I had been following for a while, someone who built a multi-brand franchise empire. I had tried to connect with him before without much luck. And the other keynote speaker was literally one of my career role models, a total fangirl moment there. During each panel or speech that I was interested in, I took copious notes. I sat there jotting down everything, hanging on there every word, everything that spoke to me, I wrote it down. I took photos of the people speaking on the panels, and then I even managed to take a photo with my role model after that. Had someone take a photo of us. And then I wrote a post about each one of these interesting panels or keynotes with my takeaways. I shared photos and my own thoughts about it. What I've learned, I tagged the speakers. Remember, tagging is important, and the people that were in the photos. And I did that after each of the 2 days of the conference and the day after, so I spaced them out. And by the way, with some of these conferences, if you're not first, you're last. Because what happens in the week after a conference, everyone is going to post their photos, and it's usually very shallow comments like, great being here, great seeing everyone, great event, just something like that. All of this will usually floods my feed and me and my 80 common connections that I have with some of these people, and it makes my post invisible. So I try my best to post either later in the day of that event or the day after. Well, some of these takeaways caught the eyes of the speaker. I couldn't even tag him. Some people are not taggable on LinkedIn on purpose. They don't want to be tagged because they get too much noise. But someone working for him shared that, and he was so impressed with how I had captured his vision that led to a discovery call, who led to a small deal, who led to a bigger deal, all because I took the time to thoughtfully put together a post with my takeaways and share it with that photo. What was important to me, what I had learned from that. So, of course, that was not the first thoughtful post that I've ever posted on LinkedIn, and it definitely won't be the last one. But that is the power of one post, okay? But the compound effect is also very powerful, because earlier this month, I closed a $30,000 deal with a brand that I had not spoken with in years. We had a deal in 2023 that fell through, and we hadn't been in touch ever since. Then this deal, they reached out to me back in May, and kidding not, it closed in 3 weeks, which is unheard of. Sometimes the deals that we work on are like the gestation of an elephant, 2 years. The day the deal closed, Annabella was on that call. I thank the client for trusting us, mentioning that I'm happy I finally get to work with them. And then the person said, same, I met you over a year ago and have you guys all over LinkedIn. Friends, we haven't talked in 2 years. This was a unilateral relationship with her watching my posts and the posts from Bright Pink on LinkedIn, never engaging. I didn't even remember she existed. So that is the power of parasocial relationships. It's like when you know someone really well from listening to their podcast all the time or seeing them in movies, and they may not be aware you exist, but you trust them because you see that content all the time. It creates trust. But just in case you think it takes 2 years to build that trust, I have one last example for you. Literally yesterday, had a discovery call booked out of the blue the day before from someone who's building a brand new franchise brand after a successful exit from several other franchise systems that they sold. He booked the meeting through LinkedIn after he saw one post of me in this suit with the rubber duck on my head. Kid you not, a purple rubber duck, and I bet it was not the rubber duck that sealed that discovery call. But the point is, I had the tagline there that says that I help with franchise websites, and that goes back to the power of crafting that from the beginning. So it's gonna sound like a crazy self-promotional thing, but remember, I'm not a coach, I'm not a professional trainer on LinkedIn or anything like that. This is just something I do out of love for Club Awesome. And I hope you look at this as an opportunity to practice. But those notes I asked you to jot down earlier, there's your content. Write a piece of content with that. Tag me, tag David, tag Club Awesome, and there you have it. That's your content right there. That's going to be visible to everyone who follows me, David, the club.
Well, that means everybody needs to write a post when you go home today. Everybody needs to write a post about this event, what they learned about it.
I got a picture of the two of you up there with the thing.
If you registered online, I'll send you a follow-up with a link to some posts that you can tag and like and share. Nobody knows where to find the share button. I think I always ask people, please share this, please share this, and they don't do that.
But you also said to use repost instead of share.
Well, repost is LinkedIn's terminology. So some people, I think, maybe look around and say, I don't see a share button. But
yeah, I was trying to while we were kind of talking about like tagging like the club a bit earlier. Does Club Awesome have its own like LinkedIn page?
Yes.
Like I was trying to I was only seeing a group, wasn't sure what.
yeah, we should probably get rid of there is a group too, so we should probably get rid of that because we don't use it. If we can figure out who's in charge of it, that's one of the challenges.
So I think we're coming short of time here. So I want to get through the rest of my prepared tips here, but I'm going to leave this exercise for you to take with you. 5 post ideas that showcase your expertise or your personality. And I wanted to have you share one with the class here, but I don't want to not have time to tell you the rest of this. And I have a couple of more tips before I move on from this topic. So please respond to all comments. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do it because it doubles your engagement. If you get 5 comments and you respond to 5 comments, guess how many comments is going to show there? 10. Exactly. And when posting photos, take the time to select the best one out of the 10 you probably snapped. If you need to brighten them up, crop them, remove the ugly yellow trash can in the corner, you know how easy it is to do that nowadays on your phone. You just tap a button, does it. And if you're going to post a photo of someone, especially someone you admire and you want to tag them, make sure it's a flattering photo of them. Because, and I'm not just saying this like the whole photo of me with the mouth open here. But But you don't want that to be a not so pleasant surprise when they see themselves tagged on LinkedIn, right? You want them to engage and be happy that you tell like, "Ooh, that's great. This makes me look good." So think of it the same for you, obviously, right? When someone tags you, you'd want to make sure you're in your most flattering moment. All right. So what else I have here? So the internet is a crowded place, and you're going to see this LinkedIn engagement is no longer a new thing. It's still absolutely worth doing, as you saw. By the way, I've been on LinkedIn a really long time. I've only gotten truly intentional about it in January of this year. That's when I started posting 3 times a week, sometimes a little more. Before that, it was like a once a month thing. And surprise, surprise, didn't work. But as I started being more intentional, that's when I started seeing those results. And I have 2,400 followers. I am not a blue check mark. I am not an influencer. It still works. I don't need the likes. I just need the deals. But the internet is a crowded place. It's become harder and harder to stand out. It doesn't matter what platform you're on, really. But you know what's not crowded? Real life. So go to events, take notes, ask questions, shake hands. Don't hide in the back row. You don't need to be an extrovert. You just need to be intentional. And I almost certainly was not an extrovert when I decided that I didn't want to miss out on opportunities by staying quiet and invisible. Seek to provide value and show curiosity. These 2 things are going to help you the most in networking. So think about the world 5 years from now. You're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake online anymore. I was talking to David earlier. Probably you're going to have to add ums and ahs in your videos so people believe that it's real instead of fake. While everyone else is fighting with the algorithm and for a slice of it, you can be the one who stands out just by being you, the superhero version of you. Communication truly is a superpower. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you can't convey your value, you're invisible. There are many ways to strengthen that presence, whether it's how you walk into a room, how you dress, the gestures that you use when you speak, or the way you structure your message. These are things that Toastmasters teach, of course. Everything about you communicates something. And often, before you say a single word, and sometimes how you say something matters even more than what you say. I know that sounds superficial, but it's true. And here's a perfect example. Recently, I went to a conference where the keynote speaker gave a talk on AI. Now, thanks to one of our clients, an AI training company, I had a crash course in the real behind-the-scenes working of the industry. So as the speaker started talking, I noticed a lot of inaccuracies, like, hold on, that's not even how AI works moments. I literally started taking notes in my phone in a list called the BS list. But here's the thing. He was a phenomenal speaker. His stage presence was magnetic. He engaged the audience, worked the room, made them laugh. And when I talked to people afterwards, everyone said, he was amazing. Contrast that with another AI expert I have heard a few weeks back. She was the real deal. Everything she said was accurate and up to date, but her delivery was flat, disconnected, quiet. And someone I spoke to after the most recent talk even said, this guy was so much better than her. Was he though? Or was he just better at sounding confident? The point is, your delivery matters. Your presence matters. And it's not shallow. It's strategic. So you don't wake up one day and suddenly become a great keynote speaker. It takes practice, feedback, and the willingness to get a little uncomfortable. But you don't need to be a keynote speaker to benefit from strong communication skills. No matter your role, whether you're leading a team, serving clients, or just trying to get promoted, your ability to communicate clearly and confidently makes a difference. Unless you're a lab tech working in a bunker, you need to be able to advocate for yourself and show your value. They call it a soft skill, but honestly, it's one of the most powerful tools in your professional toolbox. And yes, here comes the Toastmasters plug. I studied communication in college, so I can structure a message, but that did not prepare me to stand up in front of an audience and actually speak it without turning beet red. Toastmasters did. This club did. Club Awesome, where I gained the kind of confidence that lets me stand in front of a crowd, whether I'm pitching a client or giving back to my community. In fact, I learned so much here that I said yes to spending the day after my birthday, yes, my birthday, giving this workshop instead of sleeping in. Hope you're leaving today with more than just tips and tools. I hope you're walking away with a plan because you learned something helpful today. And if something clicked, now is the time to act on it. Take a minute and look at your notes and make a real commitment to yourself. What's your area of expertise that you're ready to own? How are you going to define your character, your professional persona? Are you going to start posting on LinkedIn once a week, 3 times a week? Are you going to stop hiding in the back and actually show up to that networking event? Which one? Are you finally going to work on your communication skills? And will you commit, not just try, but commit to joining Toastmasters and going through the full experience? Will you connect with people that want to grow like you? Will you look for mentors or become one? Because here's the truth, building a personal brand takes action. It's not something you think about, it's something you do over and over again. Not just when you're feeling inspired or motivated, even when you're tired, busy, or unsure. It's like working out. You don't rely on motivation, you rely on a plan. Do it consistently. You show up until it becomes second nature. You do it until it works. You do it until your results speak for themselves. And once you do that, you pay it forward. You help someone else do the same. Come back here and tell us about it. Because if you leave here and nothing changes, you didn't just waste your time, you wasted an opportunity. So, what's your commitment? I have some commitment papers here to share with you. So you can fill out. I know we ran out of time. Oh, they're over here. Once we pass them to everyone. Thank you. And for online, maybe we'll share that separately. But remember, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. You can't ChatGPT your charisma, but you can build your personal brand one intentional action at a time. Thank you for waking up early and spending your morning with me. Now go out there and be awesome.
We want to make sure that we get some feedback from people who maybe haven't had a chance to speak in this meeting yet. Rebecca, can you give us a little bit of feedback? Now, I don't know, you mentioned that you were interested in this topic, but do you have Toastmasters experience, or is this an introduction to it for you?
This is an introduction. I don't have experience.
Okay. Well, what was your experience today? Did you enjoy the presentation?
I did enjoy the presentation. I did learn a lot, and I was trying to apply it to what I want to do because my topic is kind of, I don't know what to call it, because it has to do with end of life solutions. And I was trying to not adapt, but apply is the word. Apply everything she said to my presentation, what do I do for other people, etc. So it was kind of tricky as I learned, but I did enjoy it and I learned a lot.
I apologize, I didn't immediately recognize you. You were here in person last week. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful that you're able to come back. And can I ask our two bright pink representatives here? And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your names, but can I ask you to come up? Just introduce yourself to the folks and say what was your All right, you can team up. Or
Well, there's two of us, so we're just gonna
Yes.
both up here.
Yeah, there we go.
So my name is Alicia Hughes. I am the Director of Marketing and Account Manager for Bright Pink Agency. I have been there for a little over 3 years. And I have literally learned everything I know about marketing and personal branding for Bright Pink from Madalina. She's been an amazing mentor. As she says, find yourself one. And what else was I talking about?
Well, just so you,
You think about the whole event.
No, this event was fantastic. I loved learning from her. I always do, but it's a great opportunity for people to come together and grow their skills. You can't continue to grow in your own work and what your business is without getting up here. As you can see, I need to do it more often. I feel very uncomfortable, but it's cool. And I actually am, as she said, going to an event, a huge conference next week. And this is something that I need to help get better at speaking in front of people. So here I am. And behind her, I'm a sidekick. Not that superhero. I gotta build that.
Yeah. Well, my name is Madalina Molero. I work with Bright Pink as a RevOps. I'm the revenue operations coordinator. As you can see, I'm very, very nervous to be here. Madalina keeps saying I'm an extrovert. I don't think I am. Maybe I'm an ambivert, probably. But yeah, she told me about Toastmasters, I think about 2 months ago, because I asked her, how did you become so good at public speaking? I get so nervous. And she explained about how her and Alex came here and built all of these skills. So I was just curious. So that's why I was mainly interested in coming today. And about what you said was amazing. I learned so much. I work with her every day, and I didn't even know about the QR code thing. It's awesome. And by the beginning of it, when she said, I am this and do this for that, I help who with what, and I didn't know what to write down, to be honest. And by the end of this lecture or this workshop, I was able to narrow it down. And I think now it's much better. So I would like to share with you if that's okay. I don't know, maybe,
Sure.
yeah. I help emerging and well-established franchises with building their strategy to make their websites findable.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your share.
Well done.
And I see Christina Webb is here. I don't know whether you're able to come on camera, talk with us. Christina is a colleague of mine from SimilarWeb. And I know she's not completely shy because she's a salesperson. I think you were on camera at some point during the meeting. Can you tell us a little bit of your impressions of today?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry, my internet is having a little bit of trouble, but yes, I'm Christina Webb. It's my first time in Toastmaster. I'm very happy. I love today's session. I learned a lot. I learned about the trick about the LinkedIn. It was new for me. Also about building confidence for public speaking. My dream it always is to become one day the public speaker. So I spoke 1 year ago to David that I want to join those meetings, but finally I was able to join today. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, and just for context, I mean, this is not a regular meeting. Our usual meeting structure is we come together, we usually have an impromptu speaking exercise near the beginning of the meeting. And so that's where you get called on to answer a question that you weren't expecting. And so I say that's a little bit more like the real world. It's more like the work world where the boss turns to you and says, what do you think? You want to have a smooth answer, not blah, 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 blah. Like, so we'll do that exercise. We try and have somebody who is a humorist who tells a joke. We'll take a brief break, and then we'll come back with 2 to 3 prepared speeches, and then other members of the group will evaluate those speeches. And so the evaluation is also an exercise in coming up with a little speech, a 2 to 3 minute summary of what that person did well and what they could do better. It's always meant to be something that is constructive, is encouraging, but it's not too softball. So you know, if they said and ah a million times and it was distracting, if they fumbled with their slides, we want to give them feedback on things that they can improve for next time. And so that's what I mean when I say that this is a group where we come together and we all try and help each other be better. We're a little bit past our scheduled end time. And so I probably should ask, actually, Marianne Grady has had her hand up, I think forever since we had the LinkedIn discussion. Marianne, do you want to just make a brief point?
Sure. It's a little after the fact, but a couple things on LinkedIn. That exercise with the tagline where you say what you did, I did that years ago, and my tagline was, I can help you get your dream job. And that alone increased interaction with clients, and it was really a big boon for me. The other thing, as far as regular posting, I made a commitment to write an article a week for 1 year. And I did that. And at the end of that time period, I was the 5th ranked HR professional on LinkedIn, which is like gigantic. Now, that was way back in 2013, so it was a long time ago, and I've since retired. But with that said, make sure you are, consistent about it. And also when you're commenting, don't just say things like great idea. Be specific. Say things like, I loved how you did this. Compliment them with more specificity than just like great or nice or, something like that, because that is more meaningful and they will appreciate it more. That's all.
Okay. All right. And I want to have say something. I know some people may need to leave. If you have to go, that's fine. But you're by default, LinkedIn will make that tagline be whatever your current job title is, but it doesn't have to be that. So I think my current official HR job title is Senior Insights Analyst, and nobody knows what the hell that means. The customized tagline is versatile and inventive writer, editor, and digital creator. So you can jazz it up a little bit. Also, I mentioned reposting on LinkedIn. I almost never like something without reposting it, because if I thought it was good, I thought it was insightful, I want more people to see it. You can either repost it with your own comment, which I do some of the time if I have something to add. If I have nothing to add, I just repost it. And hopefully that person sees that I shared their content. So the next time I'm asking people to share their content, they might be a little bit more generous towards me as well. Anyways, that's a little bit of theory. Christine is our club president, long distance from Idaho. But do you want to say a few words just to wrap this up?
I certainly do. I just want to say I'm absolutely in awe of what we learned today. David Carr has gone above and beyond to make a fabulous difference for all of us. We all learned, we all took away. And one thing I learned, I never knew, and I'm going to actually share something that I'm embarrassed about. But the first thing I learned is Gail is 77. Doesn't she look great? 77. Gil, I'm 67 this year, and you got me beat by 10 years and you look younger than me. So I'm so impressed with you. Second is I have a confession. I love today because I'm a closet person. I go to the party and hide in the bathroom. I have 7,200 followers on LinkedIn, and I'm afraid to post because I don't know if, I got to first understand LinkedIn so I don't post something embarrassing or something. So today was great. I absolutely love it. And how did I get that many? There was a time in my life I was just accepting, and very active, not knowing anything about LinkedIn. So today was a learning cause, me to figure out my purpose and what I do. I love helping others. My personal motto is I rise by lifting others. And so I do various things. How to put it in one lane, that is my challenge. So I definitely don't think I could quite do that sentence. I will work on it, just so you know, you taught well. But for all of you, take what you learned today. Club Awesome is the place to really be real, be around genuine people, to make that positive difference. You are important. You are valued when you belong to Club Awesome. I'm so glad I was here today to listen and learn. Also, I want to give a big hand to our new officers for next year with Club Awesome. June is the last of my tenancy with presidents, and by being a president of a couple clubs, it was very challenging, and the team made it happen. I cannot say enough. Our next president is Miss Gill. This 77-year-old is leading the pack. Our VP of Education is none other by David Carr. He showed his true colors today. I'm so excited. We have a powerful board. And Trisha, she is an amazing creative artist and has some beautiful ways when VPPR, that's public relations, to jump out there. And me, I'm tossing in the middle, but we have a solid foundation, 51 years. You can see I proudly show this with Club Awesome. This is the club to, if it's your first time, start. If it's your come back, and it's worth it.